Now, here's an interesting marketing issue these days. What is the benefit, what is the value of advertiser-funded programming over a normal above-the-line advertising campaign? It's an issue that the big Clover dairy brand has been grappling with, and Sherian King is with us, marketing manager for dairy for Clover. Very warm welcome to you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
First of all, what is advertiser-funded programming as a start?
Well, basically what it is that companies will take their budgets and put them into a TV program to create entertainment for consumers, and then sell that to the channels in order to flight.
And this feeds into this whole notion these days of branded content, that it's absolutely critical that, that big brands are moving in that direction. So if that's the case, what's the benefit?
Well, if you look at the number and types of media, even over the last 5 years, it's increased dramatically. So consumers are really being bombarded by messages. And as we know...
The old clutter debate, in
exactly.
other words, yeah.
So as we know, consumers switch off to a lot of the messages. So it's really important for companies to create very engaging and exciting content, a conversation with consumers rather than just speaking at them.
Let me suggest to you, Sherian, that it's the conversation, it's the authentic conversation that is critical in that respect. Because if you get that wrong, if it's just prescriptive, if people can see through the brand, you're not going to get the traction that you want.
Exactly.
So it's all in the tonality. So let's talk a little bit then about this Clover Little Big Cook-Off.
Yes.
What did you do?
What we did was we created a big brand campaign around the Clover dairy product, and we created a parent and child cooking show that showcases our product.
All right, so before we get to the show itself, it was led then by an above-the-line campaign. So in other words, you create a campaign saying this is what we're doing. That's going to drive interest, participation and audience to the show itself.
Yes.
So there's a symbiotic relationship between the two. So how did the show itself work then? So
parents and children could enter, and then they enter their recipe, and the family recipe has been passed down from generation to generation.
Okay, so there's a nice bit of heritage attached to that.
Yes,
okay,
and a lot of storytelling around it as well. So we got some very interesting stories, and then the 27 teams competed for 13 weeks for a grand prize of a trip to Disney World and a kitchen makeover.
And there's this extraordinary interest these days in cooking programs for some strange reason.
Definitely.
I do not know why.
But something that's quite unique about this program is that it's parent and child teams together. So it really brings in that family dynamic of the Clover brand, and then showcases our products very well, which actually, if we look at 30-second TVCs, can't do the same job as, like, for example, an advertiser-funded program.
Sherian King, how do you inject the Clover brand into this itself? I'm assuming that there's a degree of subtlety that you have to practice.
Of course, we don't want to shout the brand at consumers, because that's not what we're trying to do. That's why we did it.
A marketing manager saying you don't want to shout the brand? This is new. Yeah. But
well, I mean, we shout the brand in other ways. We shout the brand in other ways, but really, it's about communicating the reasons to believe subtly throughout the show. The products are always on TV during the show. It's very well branded and cleverly branded.
Using your products. I mean, obviously not an opposition product. I mean, you've got to be very careful in terms of that gatekeeping.
Exactly. So all the Clover products are used in the show. We brand the aprons, we brand the kitchens, and so on. And it's all done in Clover colours as well. And then the judges are obviously very credible as well, credible judges. They judge competitions internationally. So they also support the products and explain why they would support the products as well, and advocate the products. And then we have a very lovely host as well, Zoraida Jardine, and she also is a big supporter of Clover. So really getting the judges tie into or support of the products.
Just finally, is the notion behind this thing to push product per se, and you have a range of products, or is it simply a big Clover brand build entrenchment exercise?
Well, firstly, it's a bit of both. So firstly, it was to create critical mass with our budget. So like, for example, if you're going to promote milk separately from cream, separately from condensed milk, separately from butter, you're going to be spending a lot more money on each campaign, or maybe you would have to spend less money on each campaign. Rather create one big campaign to push the product range, and then to create consumption across the category, so sell consumers a basket of products. But then also the main aim of the campaign then is to push sales. So it is a sales driving campaign, because you have to buy product in order to enter, to be on the show.
All right. I'm assuming, just very quickly, that you've enticed marketers into perhaps going down this particular road.
Yes.
I presume you will do it again at some point.
Yes.
Did you make mistakes?
There are a few things that we're going to tweak for this year. So I wouldn't say they were mistakes, but rather, I suppose, learnings. And for example, we realized that towards the end of the episodes, we had a lot more engagement with audiences. So our ratings went up a lot in the last 4 episodes, which were actually the episodes that people were coming back to the show. The contestants were coming back in 2nd and 3rd rounds. So the season 2 that we're going to, that the entries have started running now, we will change the format slightly so that consumers will see their favorite teams more often throughout the show.
I've been doing television for a long time. Never, ever underestimate the importance and the power of audience engagement.
Absolutely.
Fascinating insight.
Yes.
Sherian King, Marketing Manager Dairy for the Big Clover brand.
Yes.
Thanks for the insight. Appreciate
Great.
talking to you.
Thanks so much, Jeremy.